Alright, stream's rolling. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds before I start the briefing so we make sure that we're all running and everything's good. Oh, dude, you're going to have a 40 series card, which means it has a separate streaming encoder. So we might be shuffling the stream off to you.
Yeah, that's true. We could do that. Probably should do that.
Probably.
Oh boy, now I gotta learn how to do all that stuff. Fun.
Just another step in the process, my dude. Then I have to be the one sending my NDI to you.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, it's probably a drop in the bucket concerning the NDI stuff. And also, quite frankly, I should do it because I don't have a data cap.
Okay.
And you have an upload bandwidth limit.
That is absolutely true.
So, it'll be me, which is fine. I'll just have to get a 40 series card or a 50 series card in some alternate universe.
Dude.
Dude.
Not going to be any cheaper. And the 450 series aren't going to price of the 40 series. Like the card that I bought is selling for like 1,400 if you just go buy it at a store or at Amazon or something like that, because and they don't, it's discontinued. Like they don't sell the 4080 straight to the super because they realize that nobody's gonna buy a 4080 at 1,200 MSRP when you can buy a comparable card Radeon at like $1,000.
Yep.
But that means that like nobody's dropping the prices on the original 4080s.
Yep, because
so
people are still buying the We're doing it to ourselves essentially.
Yep.
All right.
As long as this works though, not me. I mean, kind of. I don't feel like I got like a screaming deal or anything. I feel like I got a reasonably, not even. I feel like I paid top dollar for what I'm probably.
Well, anyway, briefing.
Ready to go.
We're flying at Tinian Shoreline again. It is going to be straight out of the chocks, left turn onto Alpha. Sorry, right turn onto Alpha, then hold short of the runway. We'll do it as we did it last time. It's going to be a no-flap lower go takeoff maneuver, left turn out to the away from crowd heading to 10 miles. And it's going to be a fairly sharp left turn, flat left turn, back towards the Showline on show heading, or as best as I can hit it, for the head-on and the opposing 360. Opposing 360, I will be low and inside. We'll smoke off at the hit, and then it'll be away from crowd, 270s to canopy facing crowd, then a 90 clear. At which point we'll continue the show as briefed. It'll be a left turn out of the Delta breakout for the Delta flat pass, and we'll try an actual flat pass this time. We'll do a climb out of that, so there'll be a slight pull at center point to make it over the ridge line. We'll go about 5 miles out, then we'll do a left. We'll stay in that climb and do a left turn to come back down onto crowd heading for a right break of runway 07 or runway 27, I think it is. So it'll be a right pitch break to land on 27. Stagger will be right, and then we'll back taxi all full length, and then we'll go well clear on Alpha for individual right 45s into the chocks.
Sounds good. It's a right break, just confirming.
For what?
The pitch up break to land.
Yes, it is a right pitch up break to land.
Got it. Alrighty.
Any questions?
I don't believe so.
Alright, ready to break? I'll switch inputs.
Do you have goals for this show?
That would be a question, and my goal for this show is to try and execute a safe and accurate Delta flat pass, and to try to avoid try to avoid the immense amount of speed that we had in the delta roll. So try to adjust the parameters of that to make it just a better profile. How about you?
Got it. My goal is to fly smoother form and not let stuff get in my head as much, and then better setup for the sorry for the loop break cross, which I completely screwed up last time.
All right. Any other questions?
Do you want a weather briefing now or only jet?
Why don't we do it in the jet?
Got it.
All right. Anything else?
Negative.
Last call. Ready to break. Switch inputs.
Lima Charlie.
Have both of us on stream. Cool. All right, ready to pause?
Ready. Yep, loud and clear.
I swear they changed how those knobs turn. I don't like it. Alright, advise when ready for start.
Ready to start.
Battery on standby canopy.
Web.
Standby right as you're forward. And 3, 2, 1, mark. Standby left engine crank.
Roll left, roll left. Flight controls. Flight controls.
Go for FCS. And test. Of FCS go. Yeah, it kind of wigs out during the lineup for or the alignment for this field. DGC complete. Level up tree come on.
Good check. Lab, your Discord still up. Good.
Take off checks.
Lab.
Check your smoke pressure on. Check your trim sets. Check your heading. My heading 125. Check your ground temperature sets 29 or 902 for uncorrected center point elevation of 0 feet. Check your barrel warning 0. Check your FCS 12. 30 down 2. Check your fuel. See arm lights out.
Lab.
Check your smoke pressure on. Smoke on. Smoke off.
Good smoke. Good morning, Chariot. Updated winds are fairly calm out of the north tree 5-7 for 4 knots. Check your altimeter 29 or 902 for an uncorrected center point elevation of 250 feet above sea level. Chariot, you can squawk 1205, level squawk 1206. You're cleared taxi left out of chocks, left on the taxiway there, right on Alpha, and then left on to, let's see, what is that, 24. 4. Correction, hold short 240 is the runway. What?
Souls are cleared to taxi. Check your parking tickets now. Cheers, very much. So also checking income one. Chariot's up income one.
Lab, up it, come on.
We're coming right a little up to Tatch. Reference 25 minutes.
Lab's attack. not holding short.
Left lead.
Leb has lead on left. Confirm we are not holding short.
Left lead. Chariot has lead on left.
Leb.
Go on rest, Chariot's easy. Private idle. All brakes. Brakes. Easy brakes. A little more brakes. Check out jets.
Leb.
Check your storm pressure off. Check your lane line is off. Check your lights are Flaps are half. Check your point is set. Red 2, waypoint 2, 2.5 miles. Check your altimeter set to barometric and set to 2, 9 or 9 or 2. Check your dispenser is bypass. And your seat is on. Correction. Check altimeter set to Nevada.
Leb.
Check your heading. My heading is 034.
Leb.
Solos, we're clear for takeoff. Check my airways off. Cheers, man. Setting. Off brakes now. Double level attach.
Leb's attack. Easy left.
Come left. Brakes. Brakes. More brakes. Solos, we're clear for takeoff. Updated winds are 357 for 4. That's on your right crosswind. Check your right wings left maneuver on the section. No flat lower go maneuver left turn.
Leb.
Check right wings left. That's rolling. Off brakes now. Lowers ready now. Little pull. Ready, split. Roll out your flaps. Roll out. 260.
You got two.
Sure. It's gonna happen fast. And we're rolling out. Easy. Arrival checks.
Leb.
Check your storm pressure on. Check your altimeter set to zero altitude. Check your lane lines. You're in front of the crowd. Set up the head on.
Leb. Lab.
And roll it out. Head on.
Lab. Lab. Match. Map. A little slow. Cut. Wow.
Merge. Stay by roll. Hold the 40. Stay by roll.
Clear.
Roll. Seriously. In front of the crowd for the closing knife edge.
Lab is 2 miles mark. A little bit. The hit was pretty off for me. My spacing. Catching the debrief. 4 miles mark. Beam. Go ahead, dig it. 4 miles mark. 370.
Turns in for the right knife edge.
Comes in right knife edge. 3 miles mark. 1. 2 miles mark. 398. Contact. Clear. Clear.
Seriously, clear in front of the crowd for equalizing inverted to inverted rolls. 120, mark.
2 miles. Four miles mark. Bean. Take it. 4 miles mark. 360.
Turns in for the left.
Comes in left, Bert. 3 miles. Mark 380. And 2 miles. Mark 4.
Roll right, roll right.
Got it.
Roll right, roll right. Roll right, roll right.
Clear.
Roll right, roll right.
Contact. You'll have to chair it. Hubs, gear down, hook down, flight support up. Clear.
Inboard, low. Transmission out. Roll out.
Clear.
Coming back. Set. Stand by the gear. Hop. Launch one out. BrotherLeb, knock it off.
Clear.
Clear clear. Clear behind the crowd for the MRT stand.
Upstate 8. 4.
Not great, but better adjustments. Circling 5 miles from the MRT. Cheers, turn it around 5 miles from the MRT. That's the first today. 4 miles, Mark 368. 3 miles, Mark 350. 2 miles, Mark 347. Descend. 5 miles, Mark 2. 1 mile, Mark 354. Burns down. Ready, go. Natural.
Flight controls. Flight controls.
Comes the cue. And kick. Turns push now. Bringing up 1100. Coming right. Comes the
Contact. Got you, Chariot. Hello. He's in hair power. A little fast. Left. Contact early. Left.
Merge. Center one. Stand by, roll. Roll to 40. Stand by, roll.
Clear.
Roll.
Clear.
Roll. Cheers, clear. Clear in for the crowd for the opposing horizontal rolls. 2.8. Mark.
2.7. Four miles, Mark. A beam. Take it. 4 miles, Mark 4.
Cheers in for the horizontal rolls.
A bit left, horizontal.
And the crowd clears.
Up. 3 miles, Mark 4, 10 little. 2 miles, Mark 4. Contact.
Roll right, roll right.
Clear.
Stand by, roll. Burns. Hold. Ease up the pull and roll and out. 7.9.
8-3.
Cheers coming right and circle around the crowd for the stage 8 roll, stage 6-7.
State 7 no.
Cheers circle 5 miles. And cheers turning 5 miles. Almost halfway. 4 miles, Mark 0.68.
Late.
3 miles, Mark 0.80.
On time.
2 miles, Mark 0.89. 1 mile, Mark 0.92.
Pull up, pull up.
Ready, hit it. Stand by, roll. Leb's clear.
Chariot circling 4 miles from the top. Chariot's turning in 4 miles to the south. Let me get me
Working it. Leb is clear 4,000. Lots of power. Off. Chariot's attached. There's the map bus. Beam. Take it. 4 miles, mark 230.
Chariot's in for the right.
Up to the right dimension. 3 miles, mark 400. 2 miles, mark 400. Correct.
All right, all right.
Clear.
Stand by, roll, man. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll. Stand by, roll.
Clear.
Roll. Chariot's clear. Clear in front of the crowd for the opposing vertical pitch. 2 miles.
2.1.
Did it somehow.
Four miles, mark. Beam. Take it. Four miles, mark 380.
Chariot's in for the left. Vertical pitch.
Comes in left, vertical.
50.
Biddy. 3 miles, mark 3. 2 miles, mark 402.
Pull up, pull up.
Contact.
Ready. Hit it. 60. Stand by her. Roll and pull. Power's idle. 45.
7-7 a little early. Contact.
Looking good. A little more cold.
Pull up, pull up. Roll left, roll left.
Stand by, roll, and stand by, roll. Cheers, clear. Clear behind the crowd for the inverted.
Let's go on left. 360. 355. There's 350. Ease in the pull. And rolling out. Left, ease, little power, 360. Souls behind the crowd, setting up the vertical roll. Coming left. Coming further left comes the pull, adding a little power, a little more pull. Sold to the 90 for the inverted pickup roll. Ease in the pull, ease and a little power. And rolling out the invertical roll. Easing more power. Up we go. A little pull. Ready. Aboard. A little drive. Ready.
Sort of. Stand by, roll. Hold 10 degrees. Stand by, roll. Pulling up. Coming left.
Inside out.
Contact.
Ease the bull and rolling out. 325 coming left. 330. 340. 350. 355. 360. 370. Easing power. Or ease the pull and rolling out. 380. Easing power for 380. Left. Souls behind the, souls are behind the crowd, setting up the section alpha. Easy touch power. We're coming left, easing power idle, coming further left comes the pull, a little more pull, adding a little power back in, stand by the boards, boards. A little further left, little more pull. Stand by the boards. What? And we're rolling out. Easing power. Set. Easing more power. We're gonna need boards. Stand by the boards, boards. Little pull. Stand by the boards. 180. 170. We're not gonna make it. 60. 150. 145. 140, pull into the set. Send it. Forget the smoke.
Flag it off.
Left. Pull into 60. Common left.
Chariot's breaking left, 280.
Contact.
310, easy cover. 315, easy horsepower, easy simple. 325. 45, easy, and roll out. So it's all that guys, set up the section breakout.
You got to. Left.
Section breakout.
Left. Contact.
He's the ball and rolling out. He's a very catch 360.
Contact.
350. That's what I got. Set up the Delta. Roll. Stay forward. Come left. Further left.
You got 6 boss, stay 4.
Delta roll.
Clear. Left. Shift it. Right. Ease the ball and rolling it.
Just coming right across it over your head at 470. Mark.
Contact.
460. Very catch. Coming further, it comes the pole.
You got two. Clear. Clear 335 at 2,340.
Not a bad angle, sorry.
Left. We're coming right. This will be fun. Coming further right. 370. Comes the pole. Easing the pole and rolling out. Adding power. Adding more power. A little pull to level. Rolling out. Boss. A little more power. Up we go. A little more pull. Vertical 5-7. A little ease. Comes the pole. Ready, right, 3 right.
Pull up, pull up.
Smoke off. 0.5 mark, 480 brake. 1 mile mark, 420. 1.5 mark, 406. 2 miles mark, 400. 2.5 mark, smoke. 3 miles mark, up we go. 4G. Vertical 458 alpha. Horizon now 72, powers idle. 40, 50, 55, 60, 65, rolling it, little steep. Leveling out 3 miles. 2.5 mark, 395. 2 miles mark, 4. 1.5 Mark 400. 1 mile Mark 398. 0.5 Mark 402. Smoke up. Boss clip. And we're coming left 400, easy power. 390. 380. 370, a little further left. 350, adding power catch, and we're rolling out. .352, we're coming left. Coming further left comes the pull. A little more pull, easing a little power. Bomb. Delta's in a left-hand turn for the Delta breakout. Sorry about the cough. Coming further left comes the pull, and we're easing the pull, rolling out that Delta breakout. Pretty close on line. Hair left, a little pull, smoke off. Easing the pull, little drive. Ready, break. Set. Smoke off. Clear.
Here's air 050 at 275, 14.
Left.
Coming left. Comes the pull. 320 using some power. 330 using more power. Ease the pull and rolling out. Plus 5 crowds and the Delta flat pads.
Got 6 plus. Left side right.
Left-hand turn for Delta right, pitch right. Rolling out the sun. Easy now. Easy more now.
Right braking.
Fuel low. Fuel low.
Left right.
Jury's coming right. 300.
Let's gear down 5 hook up, board up. Tiger right.
All
160. 140 all the way with an angle.
Cheers, sir.
What's okay? Lab's okay, Chariot. Lab. Lab.
Go well clear on Bravo question mark for no sorry, we'll go well clear on Alpha for synchronous or individual right 45 seconds.
Lab.
Try that again. We'll go well clear on Alpha for individual left 45
Leb.
Turns come left into the left wing.
Leb.
Nice flight, though.
Nice flight, Chariot.
Still not happy about it. Doesn't last time.
We'll talk about it in the debrief. Soul's running, boss.
Ready, slip. Orphan's 25 knot cover way. Lethargic.
Yeah, especially in the power department.
Yeah, that was weird. Like getting around corners was hard.
Yeah. True last time. Based on the mistakes we made last time, I think that was true last time too. We just come off of some very comfortable shows that we did well, and so I think we were able to adapt, whereas I was in my head this time at least.
I definitely flew better this time.
Good.
Sure, it's fantastic.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, this taxi back faster this time since
You can do whatever, it's fine. Taxi is as taxi does.
turn taxi.
I mean, it's a sim.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think you're actually not going to be too disappointed with the way this looks, so I want to put it now. If it was a complete and utter disaster, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Because, like, not a lot of power authority, but we also don't have a lot of fuel either, as well, really low.
I think that's part of it, and also we're just using more power to get the same result.
Break this up. Alright, to right at the left wing.
Leb.
Is it part of 67? Roll call.
'Tis indeed.
Well, same kind of from over there.
BrotherLeb, you got me? Well, that's a bummer. I didn't have the right mic on.
Which mic did you have on?
The headset mic.
Oh.
So not the helmet mic.
So it's very quiet.
Yeah. You're also very quiet right now.
Oh, the boom was far from my face.
Thank you. All right.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So my comms will be very quiet. And
Alright.
yeah, not the end of the world. Just kind of a bummer. But that's life. Gummy, new to this channel, trying to find some DCS content. Well, if you're still with us, we mostly do what you just saw. If you're looking for more generic DCS content, a lot of the content creators in DCS have very irregular content release schedules. But someone who you can expect to release frequently with DCS content is the Grim Reapers channel. They have a like 3 a week, I think, release schedule, and they're the only DCS content creators at the moment that have a regular release schedule. Because DCS doesn't have very often very quick releases, so it's a challenge to maintain said schedule.
Yeah. Growling Sidewinder also releases pretty consistently, but he doesn't have a set release schedule like Grim Reapers do.
Yeah, Growling Sidewinder's like once a month.
I think it's a little more often than that, but yeah, it's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look.
But
other
as
ones
far
to
as
look
us, we do this about once a week, sometimes twice a week, and we don't have a regular release schedule either.
Yeah, we super don't. Sorry. But yeah, there's a lot of good content creators out there.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you're looking for. It's very nichey. It's very like people are into certain things.
If you want more Blue
depends on
Angels
what you want.
content, there's the virtual Blue Angels. They fly. They broadcast probably once every 2 weeks, I think. Might be weekly on Twitch. And then as far as YouTube streaming, the DCS Blue Angels stream once a week on Wednesdays, I believe. No, Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when they stream.
Growling looks like he comes out with a video every 3 to 5 days.
Oh, nice. Well, YouTube's been lacking in serving me his videos then.
I mean, I'm just looking.
No,
4
you're good.
hours,
I'm
5
happy.
hours,
I'm happy for both for him and for me now that I know that.
Yeah, no, the algorithm is crappy these days.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
So I actually do what I used to do, which is go to the channels I've subscribed to and just see what they put up instead of expecting YouTube to do it.
Yeah. It's
Which is
hard.
a bummer, but here we are.
Yep. Such is life. All right. Debrief. We flew a Tinian show. We didn't crash into each other. And we were relatively on altitude for a lot of things that we did. So compared to last week, as far as like getting things over show center, I think we did better. As far as my maneuvers are concerned, my goal for the show was, I forgot what the first one was, but the second one was the delta roll and making that less dangerous. I definitely managed to make it slower and lower, but definitely not less dangerous. We had some pretty nasty pull at the end of that, so I have some work to do there. And I'll definitely fix that one for next time. Do you remember what my first goal was?
I don't.
I think
Honestly, I don't.
I think it was just to lead better and like get things over the show, over the box, and that one I succeeded. All right, how about you?
My goals were to fly better form and to have a better setup for the loop break cross. I'm going to take an L on both of them. I did not fly better form at all. It was kind of a wash, actually, between this one and the last one, but neither of them were good. And then the loop break cross, I also didn't set up a great inbound. I don't really want, this isn't about that kind of feedback, but I had challenging circumstances. Nevertheless, I did not set up a good profile, and that was the objective that I set, so I did not.
Fair. I overcompensated. We'll get to it. All right, let's start with the maneuvers. The section breakout is, or sorry, the no flap logo is not on the sheet. But let me not studio mode, start virtual camera. Display virtual camera. All right, so the no flap lower go. I did I'll take a safety on that one. My comm calls were not correct. It's supposed to be roll. It's supposed to be roll gear and flaps, roll out. And I said roll out gear and flaps, and then I didn't say anything for a hot minute, so that sucked. That's a safety, and I'll take that for next time. Yeah.
Can we debrief that for one more second? I actually didn't know that that's how it was supposed to work. So we do roll away from each other, then we roll back toward each other, gear and flaps, let those things start doing their thing, and then roll out?
Yes.
I didn't know that. All right. I thought it was roll away, roll back toward each other, then roll flat, gear and flaps, and go. But all right, that's helpful to know. I'm glad we talked about this. Okay.
Yeah, we're supposed to start gear and flaps on our second, like, as we roll back towards each other. I watched that. They didn't do a lot of no flap lower goes during winter training, but the two that they did, that's what they did. And it looks really cool. So.
All right. Well.
Because then the jet's more or less clean by the, like, when you're, as you're rolling level. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I like it.
So, in that case, I'm not going to make that gear and flaps call because it takes too long for me to do that and get my gear and flaps.
You can just do roll, however you want to do it, but you don't have to do the gear and flaps.
I'm just going to do standby, rolling out.
And I will just assume roll gear flaps, rolling out. Okay, cool.
We have now briefed that. Therefore, it will be as briefed. All right, how'd that go for you?
Honestly, as far as no flap lower go, with the exception of what we just discussed, is probably one of my more level and a beam that I've done. And then I was able to just tuck right in. I wasn't super wide. The end. There's going to be a lot to talk about. I don't want to waste it with that maneuver. That maneuver looked good, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so the turnout to the outbound heading was good. The turn back in towards crowd line, I'll take 5 left. After what happened the last 2 times I tried that. Definitely some room for refinement, but I could visualize center point and could visualize our angle on the turn in. I just kind of screwed up on the prediction for the turn in. But once we got straight and level, we started to get a little bit of a right to left crosswind, so I'll need to set up a couple of degrees right of center point in order to make that work. And then on the head-on itself, because of the weird power that's going on here, I pushed it up to 400 before we broke, and that seemed to work out better because we were able to get to our numbers and hold them coming back in. I waited the full 8 seconds, and my God, does that make a difference? No crazy trying to pull weird massive amounts, and yeah, we hit fairly decently, I feel like, for that one as far as like crowd parallax. A little separated on the horizontal spacing, but then going up the hill was fine. Clears were fine for me.
Yeah. The note I'll have is I did the wrong clear. I rolled away from crowd all like a full. I don't know. It wasn't correct. So I overrolled it by like I think 3/4 of a roll. So that's the major note there. Also, I was too far outboard of you, and then I was a little early, so that we were probably too right on the hit.
All right. Knife edge felt good. No notes.
Well, I had to fix a little lineup thing coming into the box, but other than that, yeah, no notes. Clears were a little happy
Yeah.
because I haven't got used to what the jet was doing yet, but those were far from my worst clears of the show. So
yeah,
there's more to come.
The knife edge clears definitely made me think about how the jet was performing. Inverted to inverted, I keep getting that nose up push. I got some work to do to neutralize that. I need that to be a goal for next show, is to not get that nose up push once I get inverted. So I'll work on that for next time and fix it for next time as well. Aside from that, the maneuver felt relatively fine. Just lost a ton of speed in that turn towards behind the crowd. That's where I started to realize the power was going to be a real issue. But yeah, I waited longer for my yank up for the Fortis. So that should look a little bit better. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, about the nose up thing, I think I probably end up between 3 and 5 degrees nose high at the end of the rolls because that's the nose angle that I've got when I start them, and the jet more or less keeps it, and I'm able to catch it, so that we might look coordinated in that regard. But I guess I'll try to work that down to.
No, you're fine.
Well.
No, this is it's way more than 3 to 5.
Okay.
I got problems and I'll fix them.
Yeah, other than that, I think that maneuver is pretty good. Getting down to the altitude I need to be in before I roll in is really hard. But I managed it, so I don't have a note to say. It just feels really. I mean, 2 miles, you're still over the beach.
Mm-hmm.
1.8 is about the soonest you're over water. And then you're calling the roll in at 1.5. So I basically like 4 to 450 feet. And I got to get down 250 feet and then roll inverted. So it's just like there's a whole thing. But I made it happen. So no notes, I guess.
Okay. So do you think we need to fix that, or can you execute it? Because if we need to fix it,
I've been able
we can.
to execute it. I've been able to execute it. I think they would probably bench it up.
They'd either bench it up
They
or
would.
roll in like a quarter mile later.
Yeah.
But they probably just bench it up.
Well, I don't know. It depends on where they are in the season, probably, too.
That's fair. Yeah. If you feel like it's possible, we'll just keep doing it as is.
Let's just do it as is. We've only got a lot more show here. I don't think it's worth making a huge change to.
That's fair. The Fortis. This definitely felt better than last time, as far as like the turn is concerned. I put us outboard of the show and had us come around the end of that point because I wanted to not have to worry about diving down into the box. I feel like that worked out, and coming back towards the crowd's not the end of the world. But I ended up coming way further back towards crowd than I intended once I got rolled inverted. We didn't crowd violate. We still crossed on the right side, the correct side of the boat and everything. But I don't want it that canted inward. I don't like flying in front of you, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Um, also, we were super low, ended up being, so there was a little bit of climb in the whole maneuver. My clear was also not super accurate. I rolled too early on my clearing roll, so I ended up nose high as I rolled out, which is, like, we do need to climb, but I'd rather call that climb because you're not expecting me to roll out nose high. So just a lot of things are out of parameters, and I can fly that maneuver better. So I'll fix my safety for that one. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I think I was gun shy based on the rejoin from last time in the overshoot where I had 30 knots and even with idle boards I couldn't slow it up. So I came in, behind you 330, you're at 300. I was probably a quarter mile back and I just couldn't get in. So, I wasn't in until the last probably 45 degrees of the turn, and even then I wasn't hiding the jet. I was just basically where I needed to be once you actually called your rolling in. We're rolling level, so I was way out of position for that. Not dangerous, just not where I'm supposed to be. I was pretty far back, so like when you rolled in and all this that happened with that that you mentioned didn't affect me as much because I was so far back. But it also meant that like in order to not overspeed the gear, I was like riding right on 300 knots and like trying to get up to you as quick as I could, but it just took a while. So I think I finally got a beam by right around center point, which is just not going to make the picture look good because I'm going to look like I'm behind you the whole way, which I was. And then added to the fact that if we're pointed a little bit towards the crowd, that'll even offset that more. So I think it's just not going to look great. I think my vertical spacing was probably all right. I think I was able to match your roll rates and things like that on clear. But yeah, just I was behind from that rejoin throughout the entire maneuver. So I'll fix that for next time.
Solo minimum radius turn. I tried to get the yank on this at 318 this time. Still, too much maneuverability. But I ended up leveling out at 1100, which is totally, which is within margins. So I think it's just going to be what it's going to be at this show site. That's what it's going to be, the way that it looked this time, because I don't want to get it much slower. Otherwise, the jet's going to not be responsive when I get it nose high. So I think this is what it's going to be. Turning behind the crowd was fine, so, I mean, aside from what I mentioned, no notes.
I was a little early. Other than that, no notes.
Posing, minimum radius turn. The rollout for this came real quick. Not my ideal, definitely. We were also carrying a bucket load of knots, so had to bring back the power before I hand it over to you. I waited longer this time before our cross because last time's cross was super early. I waited too long though. I didn't actually pay attention to when center point was, so I just guessed on the timing, and that led to us having a very like flat turn. So that probably contributed to why we ended up being quite a bit left of center point for the hit. I put in a ton of speed when I realized that we were gonna be left. But the rolls were fine, and yeah, I'll fix that for next time.
Yeah, the quick roll kind of caught me out, so I wasn't quite in position. I was a little low, but we were about 500 feet by the time you handed me the lead, so it's probably the altitude we want to be at for that maneuver anyway. Yeah, I knew I was fast coming around the corner once I got visual on you, and I hadn't been paying attention to my throttle position well enough when I looked over my shoulder, and I needed to check that, I think, and then do what I needed to do to make sure that the hit was on time, because I knew I was going to be early and we were going to be left, and I just didn't do enough to fix it. So I will fix that for next time. I think I was also a little wide because I was trying to like ease out the turn and like do some things to kind of affect the geometry that hope give us a little more time for the maneuver. And to try and get the hit right. And then that also meant, because I had pulled power earlier, that I was slow on the rolls, and so they're very floppy. So yeah, bunch of things to fix for next time.
Horizontal rolls. I was way behind on the inbounds for this, but I was able to make it up by the time we hit 2 miles. Carried a little bit of speed, a little bit of extra knottage through the rolls themselves. And then the rest of the maneuver was fine, leveled out at 7.7.
Yeah, I can't remember, because of what happens later in the show, what happened with the inbounds of that. I think some of that was my inconsistencies, but I don't remember the details of it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure my inbounds were not consistent and not great on that. The maneuver itself was, yeah, it was more or less fine. I was probably 7 knots fast once you called for added up. So I think that means I was a little bit further along the power curve. So that, I think, is probably why I cleared at 8.2 and you cleared at 7.7. Other than that, good maneuver.
Alright, sneak pass. This one was probably my best one yet as far as getting a level pass. Ended up being about 30 feet by the time I crossed center point. And well inboard of the boat. I think that one's going to look good. And it felt good as well, going by under the deck of the boat by a little bit. Yeah. So, no notes.
I started out about a mile behind. By 2 miles, I was 0.3 early and hauling the mail. So chucked it into idle. Might even brought out the boards a little bit, and then managed to make the hit on time. But I was only doing about 400 knots the hill, and I didn't have enough speed to do anything. So I tried the rolls, which I don't think I've ever been in this regime before. So here's a big safety. I got into a flat spin, inverted. I got up there, I was spinning, lost airspeed, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bail out of this spin at 300 knots regardless, and just like figure out how to get out of this, because I know I'm doing a lot less speed than I normally do, and I'm low. And so, like, by the time I got into the flat spin, I was only about 800 feet anyway. ASL. So yeah, flat spinning above a Showsite inverted at like 8,000 feet. 8,000 feet, yeah, is super dangerous. So massive safety there. Probably take my license, sort of thing. Kick me off the team, the whole sort of thing. I managed to work it out. I cleared at about 3,000 feet, I think, 4,000 feet. I got it back. I did the, spin recovery procedures. I got it worked out. I was able to clear long before you made it your way towards center point, and the rest of the maneuver, I managed it, but that was really scary. It was unexpected, and it just came from me misjudging the timing on the inbound, which was very weird. Because normally when I'm about a mile behind, no matter what I do, I can't catch up. But for some reason, I got way ahead suddenly. So I think the lesson from that, among a variety of things, is just like be late. It's better to be late. Because early I tend to pull power, and then you just don't have enough oomph going up the hill, and you get into trouble like this, which I cannot do that again. It's just extremely dangerous, and it doesn't look good either, because the jet is literally, out of parameters. We've lost control of the jet at that point. So huge safety there, and because it's a sim, there will be a next time, and I will fix it. I'm glad to be here.
Glad you are here. Line abreast loop was fine. Man, dude, the power is so weird at the show site. Came down with a bag of knots, had to put some extra pull back into it. So it was a little bit oblong, otherwise it was fine. 4 points. This is probably my best maneuver of the day. Very solid 4 points and a decent clear, like on the ankles. No notes from me.
Yeah, same. I was in a really weird spot in the sky because I've been in a weird spot in the sky before, and I managed to get where I needed to be at the time I needed to be there. The maneuver was very crisp. Clear was very crisp. I mentally reset so many times in the show, and there are a lot of things I'm not proud about, but I am proud that I was able to mentally reset and fly maneuvers like this. No doubts.
It'll be interesting to watch that one. Vertical pitch also felt great. We crossed probably about one left, real close to the boat. It's pretty sweet. Went up the hill, like we were only off by like 300 feet. Looked over at you as we were coming down. You're in the right spot, and we crossed. We had our second cross about one left, so all things considered, I think that there was a pretty good maneuver. Clear was fine, no notes.
Yeah, I was still a little mentally rattled, but again, I was just, coming around the corner, just like shake it off, fly the profile about it, and managed to fly a good maneuver, no notes.
Inverted tuckover roll. I ended up getting really wide of you through the turn and never brought it back. Aside from that, honestly, though, I felt like this might have been a decent hiding of the jet most of the time. Obviously, when we get inverted, things get a little spicy, but yeah, I'll be interested to see how this one goes. I felt like it was a fairly decent inverted tuckover roll, especially given the adjustments needed to be made from last time. So the clear, I got a little bit mixed up on my comms, so I'll fix that for next time. And yeah, that's the notes I got.
Yeah, I feel like the inbound was all right. I think the angle was probably good. We scooped into it a little bit, but I think that's probably better than other ways you could, do that. Because we have to go up the hill again anyway, so we're just kind of already pulling as we roll out and go up the hill. So I think, I don't know if I'm going to do that every time because a lot of it depends on angle and things like that, but that is a common way that this will probably happen. I was able to get the thing rolled flat quickly, but I wasn't able to get the nose stabilized, so I want to work on that. And then the 270-degree roll, or whatever, however many degrees roll it is, to get on the left 45. I didn't roll far enough, I think, and so that's a safety because that puts me potentially on a conflicting flight path with you. So I will fix that. I will roll full. And other than that, I think pretty good. But yeah, there's a safety there that I didn't roll out to my contract bank angle. So I'll fix that for next time.
Section high alpha turn was fine. Line abreast was fine. We didn't end up doing the maneuver, so we cleared early. But no safeties, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so I guess this is safety. Normally I turn at 3.5. I was like, let's try 3.2 because I was in a really weird spot. We were really, really long in the groove, so to speak, last time. And I was like, we started the maneuver at like 4.5. So I was like, okay, well, if I start the turn, a quarter mile earlier, then, we'll be more like, I don't know, even as much as like 3.5. No, we weren't. We were like 2.8, and call in the mail. And so I had to bring boards in, and we still didn't get slowed up enough. We finally got to the right alpha, like on center point.
Yep.
So we had all of quarter mile to look cool and then, clear out of the maneuver. So it's not dangerous. It's definitely unprofessional and needs to be fixed. So I'll fix pretty much the entire maneuver. I can't think of a single thing I did right in that, and I'm glad to be here.
Rejoin for the Burn 270. This felt way better than the last time we did it. Once again, I took us outside of that little pier thing, that little point, and we just did it outboard, and I think that's definitely the right way to go. So you're able to get nice and low and have a nice break over the boat. Yeah, it just felt way better putting it a little bit outboard, and I think that's the way we're going to do it in the future. Let me see. Felt like fairly measured leading. We had to put a little bit of extra roll into it coming into the maneuver. But yeah, that's all I got for the moment. I'll probably have more when we look at the tape.
Yep, I was able to get in, fly around the corner, everything was fine. I was a little wobbly on the rollout, just catching relative nose angle if you bring in pull or things like that. And then making sure to match your speed. So it's a matter of polish, but other than that, it's pretty solid. One major note on the clear, I didn't clear high enough because we're coming up over the behind crowd there's a hill, and so you're climbing, and I didn't factor that in with my clear because I normally pull a little bit in the clear to do that rollover, but when I rolled over, like, your jet was a lot larger than it normally is, and I was like, that's scary. So I cleared wider and created this kind of like funky bank, which if anybody's watching isn't the way it's supposed to look, but it was just because I wanted to keep sight of you and then like work the rejoin. But I think now that I've seen that, I can prepare for it for next time and hopefully have a more clean, professional, snappy-looking clear, and also have a safe one. So I'll fix that for next time, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, in fairness, you don't even do the real clear anyway, because you're rejoining on me, which is a whole different ballgame. But yeah.
Yeah, well, what they just do is they just snap wings level and then go grab the diamond.
Yep.
I have to rejoin on a guy who's underneath me, usually about, it's like, anyway.
Exactly.
Anyway.
All right.
But 4 does it.
Delta roll. This felt better than last time. Still wasn't great. We were very slow, which was fine. The roll was actually fairly quick because of how slow we were, so I think I'm going to try and find a nice in-between. This time we went up the hill at like 320. I'm going to shoot for more like 340 for next time, because I just don't like how quick the roll was, because that chucks you off the end pretty easily. Then we had to add some pretty decent pull-in because of the amount of altitude that we dropped in the roll, which was the plan because we're going from high to low, but just dropped too much altitude and bring in enough pull early enough. So that's a safety because I almost scraped us off on the ocean. And I'll fix that, and I'm glad to be here.
I almost stayed in on this one. I was real close. I think the roll rate you were talking about probably accounts for me falling out and then kind of sliding back into like a modified slot at the end of it. So there's a safety there. Just stay in position and not run into other jets in the formation. And then, yeah, the jet was just a little happy and on the nose in formation, and so any kind of adjustment to pull or bank angle was like a party to try to match and be smooth when we're doing such a dynamic maneuver as that one. So there, particularly on the rollout when you had to bring in a lot of pull and then ease it off pretty quickly to make sure that we were I was not matching you very well, so I would smoke off and trying to maintain some semblance of dignity. But yeah, so there are some safeties in, overlapping wings and climbing over your wing and sliding underneath your tail on the clear and things like that, or on the rollout, that definitely need to be fixed for next time. So I'll be glad to be here.
Fleur-de-lis. All things considered, this was not horrible. It was a little bit of a boxed turn, which is hard to fly form off of, so I'll try and fix that for next time. But I felt like the Apico was fine. The clear behind the crowd was also fine. And coming into the box, we came in. Man, I turned us way too early. To be honest with you, like from behind the crowd. So we came across at like a 45 to center point. And so I thought, oh, we'll just roll through, and that'll put us at the 45, and that'll be a good clearing angle. Nope. Nope. I rolled us through, and it put us on, like, when I called, go get 'em, I rolled level and pulled up, and was, like, on the crowd left heading, or the crowd right heading. So my note for next time is, even if you're at a 45, like, like, put it on the set for at least a couple seconds before you roll it around. And quite frankly, I should have just been paying attention to the angles as we were going by them. But that's a huge safety because it sets you up for a disaster for the loop break cross. So I'll fix that one, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, just a note for you on that. It is easier for me to fix, like, if you dump me out facing directly away from crowd, that I can do.
Uh huh.
The angle, like anything pointed back toward behind crowd, is like basically impossible to give you any kind of smooth ingress for that thing, because by the time we get pointed back at center point and then wings level again, and then probably have to come back left to connect to it, we're at like 2 miles, we're about to go up the hill, like it's going to be a party. So correct toward giving me more away from, like, directly away from the crowd than the opposite, to the extent that you can. If you're in a situation like I'm at a funny angle, let it be funny, and hopefully be funny away from crowd. That's perfectly fine. As long as we're not pointed crowd left, and anything from like directly away from crowd to basically crowd right is fair game. But lean in the direction of away from crowd, because that's easier to fix for that turn. Let's see, fleur-de-lis. So I was grumpy around the corner of the formation. I was just like trying to calm myself down from the delta roll mistakes I had made, which I was able to more or less do, but then the rollout for the fleur-de-lis caught me off guard a little bit, so I wasn't able to get where I wanted to be. And so, roll to inverted, again, try to mentally reset, which I was able to do. Pull behind the crowd was fine. I actually caught up to you pretty quickly. Because of the angle and how low we were, I was just nervous the entire time. But I stayed in close over the top, and let's go to the loop break cross. So the angle was poor, so I just basically, I had two choices. I was like, either we probably just bail on the maneuver again, or I just effectively max perform the jet to get the thing pointed at center point like it's supposed to be. And I took the second option, which is probably not safe. But also knowing that you weren't on my wing yet, I was like, well, maybe if I could do this quick enough, he'll have enough time to get where he needs to be to do the maneuver. So it sounds like that kind of worked. So I don't really know whether that fits in a category of a safety or not. As for like how to think about a maneuver like that when you're leading. Like if I'd had anybody on my wing at all, I probably because there was no way that we were going to get pointed where we needed to be pointed. But given that you were still going to work a rejoin, so we were a little low in the box and a little slow. Went up the hill, added power, eased a little bit. I should have eased power, which probably would have thrown you off.
No.
But we had too much power over the top, basically is what happened. So by the time we were pointed back down at center point, I also rolled into you again. I did that roll thing. Safety. Right wing down slightly. Because I could see where we were relative to center point, and just like subconsciously just sort of rolled that direction to try and hit it. And by the time I noticed, it was like, well, there's no point in correcting this at this point. So that's a big safety that I'll have to take for next time. But yeah, two safeties there, too fast over the top, and then slight right wing down on a little pull. so that we were 0.3 right. And then my outbound speeds were all over the place, and I was a little low for the up the hill. Excuse me. The half Cuban was more or less on parameters, and then I wasn't as consistent on the inbound should be. It was a little better than the outbounds, but they weren't great. And then I also never, because of, well, regardless of the reason, I never called what altitudes we should be at. I think we need to be at 200 feet because the mast of that destroyer is real tall. So I actually, third safety of this particular maneuver, I crossed center point at about 190 feet, and you're at 250 feet, so much too close. And I was worried about the ship, but I need to be clearer about that. So I think we'll probably cross 200 next time, but I'll make sure to brief that before we fly.
Cool.
I will fix my safeties, and I'm glad to be here.
I knew what I handed you, so I was totally ready for the yank and bank, and so that was not a problem. I was able to form up pretty easily. When we went up the hill, I put the jet into mill and just barely hung on over the top. And man, I have not had to fly form when the jet's performing that hard in a while. At least never had to do it over the top when we've carried that much speed. And that's hard. Plenty of PIO. Just tried to. I flew the maneuver pretty well clear and ended up getting sucked underneath you because of that right bank, just because of the speeds that we were doing. So I ended up driving out before you called break, just to make sure that nothing happened, because DCS hit detection can be pretty not great. So I was like, let's just avoid that. And so because of that, I had a bucket of knots heading down the hill and had to pull before you called the pull out to level, and still leveled at about 800 feet, which is terrifying over the ocean. Outbounds were off because I was a half mile ahead of you. But I knew that coming over the top, so was able to get up to about a quarter mile ahead of you before we went up the hill. So a quarter mile further away from crowd before we went up the hill. Was pretty much on parameters, a little low over the top, so I knew I was going to have to bail out early again, and I did. And then ended up being a little behind you, actually, coming into the box, which makes sense. But I was able to make the hit work. Took a look at my altitude after I crossed. I was at, yeah, as you expected, 250 feet. So we probably crossed with less than 20 feet between our two jets, which is a safety, and I'll fix that for next time. Even if, like, the numbers were what they said they were, like, I was right on the edge of my allowed margin, and I should hit the numbers for that. Cleared behind crowd for the Delta breakouts. I was way hung out behind you, and had to work hard on the rejoin, but we'll get to that in a second.
Two more safeties I forgot about. The roll, the ready hit it for the break cross. I overrolled that, so if you'd actually been in position, I would have hit you. So that's bad. And then also, I was so discombobulated at that point that my radio calls and everything were pretty messy on the smoke off and the clear and the whole thing. And I was kind of out of parameters anyway. And so that's dangerous because you're pointed at the ground and waiting for me to make a call to try and be coordinated. So two more safeties that I need to fix for that maneuver. Glad to be here. For the Delta breakout. Was able to reset. I got that thing basically bang on the heading, and the one note I will have for the Delta breakout is that I, once I got pointed at center point, I did roll slightly right into you, not on purpose, but I did notice a little bit of bank before we hit the ready break, which I neither called nor intended, so that's a safety, and I'll fix that for next time.
I was pretty in for the turn. So the rejoin was pretty spicy because I was way strung out behind you. Not sure why per se, but it's totally fine. That's totally within parameters of the rejoin and everything. Got rejoined on you at about the 90, which is totally acceptable. As we rolled out, I noticed that you were coming towards me a little bit, so I was banked, matching your bank angle, and keeping you on the horizon. Um, you rolled out before we pulled up. Before we did the break, which I just caught before we broke. So that's gonna look further wings separated than it should. Um, but I was able to hit my parameters and clear well behind the crowd. So for the Delta flat pass, there it is. This felt more or less like it should. Very slow, as it's supposed to be. We're crossing the crowd at 330 knots, so a little bit below the marked entry and exit speed for that. We were high, we were indexed high because of the hill, but I don't want this to be a maneuver that's away from crowd because that kind of defeats the purpose. This is supposed to be the delta close to the crowd looking cool. So may even bring that in closer to the crowd in the future. But just hung out over the crowd, smoke on all the way from 1 mile right to 1 mile left. Full show box, just smoked on. Then we cleared behind the crowd for the Delta Picture break.
Let's see. So the rejoin was weird. You called your speeds, which were faster than mine. I was like, all right, cool. He's gonna come left across my nose anyway. I'll just stay slow and join him in the turn. You turned sharper than I was anticipating, so I had to take evasive action in the rejoin. And because we were relatively low and I went low, I didn't feel comfortable just like pulling for everything I was worth and trying to get sucked right in. So I got sucked behind you and had to rejoin. So the rejoin was slower. It was also dangerous. I think in that kind of situation, I should probably check my altitude. And if I don't have the clearance I need, I should clear high and then figure out how to get where I need to be. I was able to get in, but I wasn't able to stay in very well pretty much for the whole maneuver. I was just fighting a lot of. It's just my nose wanted to walk up the whole time. I felt like I needed drive to stay on where I needed to be. But if I brought in drive too much, then I would overdo it, and then I'd have to neutralize or bring in a little pull. So it was just this PIO throughout the entire thing. And then I think I was a little wider, like further apart from you than I would like to be. I don't fly left wing very often, so I don't have a lot of practice, and the way the jet felt in this show made that really hard. But I have done it enough. I have flown in conditions. I should be able to do that better, and I will fix that for next time.
Delta Picture break. Turn behind crowd. Never done it before, but I was able to sight the field very easily. So I ended up easing a lot of pull throughout the turn. So I know that I don't have to bring in as much pull initially when we start our left turn. So that'll be something I fix for next time. And man, did we end up coming over the field real freaking low. I think it's probably like 100 feet. It was low. That's a safety I'll fix for next time. But that was overcompensating from the high we did last time. And then there's a funky comm thing that happened when we broke, which really disoriented me. And so we rolled out 045, which is totally not right. Which meant that I had to start my turn early and carry more speed in it, and so like tons of knock-on effects from that one. I should be able to adapt to unusual situations like the comm outage easier in the future.
There was a comm outage?
It sure seemed like it.
What happened?
I got a buttload of static after you called your break call.
Huh.
A huge bucket load of static. And I was worried that, I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to talk to you on 8.
Interesting.
But apparently it was fine.
Yeah, I didn't get anything like that, so very interesting.
Yeah, very weird. I was also worried that you might have died, and that was like some new DCS feature that
Yeah.
if someone's talking while they die, it just goes to static. Because like Leb's breaking, like we go into the most max performance most of the jet, like your jet's gonna get for the day, and like rips the
Yep.
wings off, kind of a thing. But anyway, ended up rolling out just fine, landing just fine. Taxi back, like no issues. I felt like I cleared us decently, lined up well for the turn back for the right 45. So yeah, all things considered, I'll fix those little bit those safeties for the inbound, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I was able to more or less fly decent form on this. I know that whenever you pull, that usually means you're gonna bring him back in later, because usually it means you're trying to like widen a turn and then you have to pull it back in. So I was anticipating that, and that worked out. I was a little low and a little from the position I'd like to be, but it was fairly stable until I saw how low we were. And then I was like, there are trees there. There are trees at the end of this runway. Does he know that? And so I held my nerve, but boy howdy, there's a point where like I saw him out of the corner of my eye and I was, my God, that was close. And then I'll also like, if he's at 100 feet, I don't know how far below him I am, but like I was like, I hope I don't scrape the runway, but I didn't, and we were fine. Yeah, the turn behind the crowd. Yeah, I didn't hear the comm. I did hear you say, maybe it was the static that you were hearing or something. You said you were 0.5, and I was like, well, I guess that must mean 045. And so that's what I did, and it looked like the heading. But that one sort of threw me off. And then yeah, because we were wide, it actually didn't even occur to me how far our angle was bad. So coming around the corner at about 200 knots, the nose wants to walk up, and I was like, well, I'll just bring in more pull. I'll roll a little further and pull a little more, and I'll be fine. And I was like, oh gosh, I still have probably 45 degrees to go. And so by the time I was 140 all the way, I probably had 38 degrees to go. But I was able to get it kind of on center line. I had to roll out so low, starting to drop over those same damn trees. And so it wasn't my cleanest landing ever, but I did manage to get there. And yeah, there's a variety of pieces of polish and just airmanship I think I could have improved for that. Yeah, but I'll fix that stuff for next time. Glad to be here.
Well, let's go take a look at it.
Let's go look at this mess.
I feel like we're learning a lot from this.
Yeah, I feel like your show went reasonably. My part of the show, much less so. That's just because I don't feel like I flew very well tonight. Oh well. No sense crying over spilt milk.
I'm really hoping that graphics card works.
Me too. I will know by tomorrow. I will let you know.
Where is das center point? There it is. All right.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Bummer. There we go. All right. Hang up. Okay, cool. My computer can handle ×7. Be interesting to see what yours can handle after you get the...
Yeah. I know my computer right now, if you're in the F10 map, can do up to about ×8 or so. But as soon as you have to render anything, it's like, no.
Yeah, you're max ×2 for you at the moment. Back when I had it, ×4 was fine with the 2070 Super, but Moving up to a 4080 hopefully will. I mean, it's better than what I have, so.
Yep.
At the very least, you will get my performance.
Should.
Which.
We'll see. It's supposed to perform better than any 30 card.
I hope you're right.
We'll see.
Oh, right. Okay, hold on. Pause. We should debrief this moment. I'll take a safety here. I should not be. I should not be. I should not be detaching you at this show site. It was just like a habit from the last one. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna detach him. He's gonna go around the corner, and I'll be on his wing, and then we'll like line up for the field just right, and it'll be perfect. And I was like, and then you were like, are we not stopping holding short? And I was like, oh yeah. So at which point,
Yeah. I request, if I ask you a question, I would like an answer. It is not because I was like questioning your, like, you could make whatever call you want. Like if you wanted to roll into the field, that would have totally worked. But at no point in that entire thing until we were wheels up did I actually know whether we were or not. Like once we stopped, I was like, I guess we're holding short, but I didn't ever get an answer to that question. So that's also why, like when you said lead left, I didn't hand it back to you because I was just like, wait, I was like, well, are we doing it or not? Like we're about to turn. So even if your intention is to take the lead back and like reset everything, please let me know if we're actually going to stop or not. It could be a one-word answer. Doesn't matter.
okay,
I was very confused.
will do. Good.
Yeah, the turn was good.
My apologies for being.
For each other?
Yeah. Interested to see.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, look, it's a boat. All right, where did we put ourselves last time?
Kind of next to this thing. It's 236 is the angle you want.
2, 3. Right,
Oh, let's see. While you're doing that, I'll go see if Attack View has it.
This should happen fairly quickly this time, but yeah. There's the turn. Breast, smoke on. Eureka.
We were never closer than about 300 feet.
Okay, cool.
Oh, wait. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's just me closing up for this formation, though.
Okay. All right, here we go.
get lower. I just wasn't sure how low. I don't think I did either.
Next time. Also, it makes me realize that I'm gonna have to adjust my viewing position.
Uh-huh.
But off. So we can actually.
Yep. I typically fly the heading.
Yeah.
And then sight you once you get smoke on.
Not good clears.
So whatever you do, hold your what you got on the heading once we smoke on, because I'm going off of you. If you adjust to me, then with adjusting stuff.
Well, I mean, like, sometimes my heading's still way off when we smoke on. So, like, I need to...
Roll right, roll right.
Yeah.
Roll right, roll right. Roll right, roll right.
Yeah, because we're so the crowd is so far back, and it's basically level passes.
Like, one canopy higher.
Yeah. I was just so tentative about the power settings because I overshot so hard the last time, and I could not slow it down. So I was just back here the entire time.
Jeez.
Don't worry about your timing. I was literally waiting to see if I would clear the tree line before I winged over.
low. Noted.
Timing's good. Excuse me. Yeah, not as bad as I thought it was left. The altitude separation is okay too. Compared to what I expected, at least.
Pull up, pull up.
Alright, ready? One burner in, because I knew I was going to need the power, but it didn't matter. Yeah, here we go. Oh, dude. I just did the spin recovery procedure. I was so low, I was like... I still don't think I should have pulled that hard, but I was like, I don't want to get too much lower.
Good.
Yeah.
Kill this show.
Yep.
Yeah. The vertical pitch.
Pull up, pull up.
time. Like, I'm not nearly there as early as I have been.
Not when the jet's really slow though. Like that, I even in normal conditions, I'll sometimes overshoot you with Fortis. Just because when you're doing like 300 knots, there's just not enough air to slow it down. That's why it got me all wigged out last time. Yeah, there's that nose thing. My bad.
I'm just too high. Bummer.
Position's pretty good.
We'll just roll through this.
Yeah. There's the pull of the set. Jeez, so late. Yeah, probably should have just flat passed that, honestly. Yeah, yeah. Just because the power was so weird here, I was worried we were gonna like just lose tons of speed, but I can always bring in power again. Yeah, it's just me struggling with the altitude. This yeah, it's just really flat. Need to pull up a little more. Just laid on the rudder. Sorry. Yep. Yep. I think I might not actually shift it and just go a beam once we roll out, because it's hard when you're that far out of the plane and dropping it like that. Just drop it like that. because of the power thing, you couldn't accelerate as quick. I was actually able to get in a lot faster. Yeah. So, that's why I'm so tight. It's 'cause, like, I don't want
Feet for the I haven't set to 50 feet for the show
to.
since I can't actually move very easily.
I got some rudder stuff on. Alrighty, let the party begin. Nice. I brought in more powers because we're
Go ahead.
normally, the reason I brought in power is because normally I want to have 50 knots and just start going up the hill.
Yeah.
About 430. But I shouldn't have done it. I also shouldn't have eased over the top. Didn't need to.
It's not.
Doesn't look bad.
You'll see me trying to fix everything for a while.
I was doing 460 on the outbound the first call.
But I was so far right that it didn't matter.
Yeah. I figured maybe, if anything, it would have helped you that I was going too fast.
Whew.
Not bad. Yeah.
Then you in.
Definitely doing that at 200 next time. Just a little too close to that ship.
I think at 150 you would have hit it.
Probably. Fortunately, center point is not right on the mast.
Yep.
So there's that little drift. My bad.
For it.
Do.
No, dude, we nailed it. I could feel. Looks really good.
Hold on.
So I think the reason why you had to do all that dodgy stuff is because we talked about this. It's gonna come right to the crowd, to the crowd heading. And I just didn't brief it. So
I think what I need to do is stay slow, but then like turn into you about 45 degrees for angles, and then chase you. But I just stayed on the away from crowd heading, which didn't give me enough room. And then I'm just gonna be bouncy all the way through this. Full smoke off there. I just could not get it in. I can't wait for this.
this low or this high. Get.
Fuel low. Fuel low.
Pretty low.
Me, or is that you? No, I think that was supposed to be me. Yep. I had to do so much angle work here.
I think I feel as bad with mine now. Probably similar.
Yeah, dude, getting over those trees is it's stressful.
Yeah, dude.
Nicely done. Adjustment.
Whew, boy. That show was pretty grody.
I couldn't get the comms right for this either. Oops. And
Overcooked it a little.
a little. Dude, I go full boot on the regular gain when I make that turn. So.
I didn't judge the turn before the final turn right, so this is not going to be coordinated. I forgot about that. Meow.
Actually, if I do my math right, 25 times 7 is how many knots? That would be 175 knots.
Why was it times 7?
Because that's the amount that I have that's...
Oh. Almost hit your wing there. Your stab, rather. It's my bad. knows? Yep, good show. Well, no, it was not a good show, but we did a show.
We did a show. It happened. All right. You are sick.
Yeah, I think I need to be done.
Okay. I thought so. All right, folks, that's going to be it for our stream, but thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.